persistence is key. Always continuing to try and move forward and just know that you can get through it. Like it seems like the darkest days are never going to end. And it's been around for a while, but this too shall pass.
Yeah.
It's whether it's something good or
Mhm.
great, like this too shall pass. Whether it's something horrible, like this too, just know that because
Yeah.
when you're in it, you think that this is it. This is my life. This is the way it's going to be, and this too shall pass. And it's the absolute best, number one, most important fight that you have to fight, and the
Mhm.
biggest and the most important battle that you have to battle. But it's worth it, and this too shall pass.
Welcome to Sheila's Take, your go-to podcast for thoughtful insights on love, faith, health, fitness, relationships, and navigating today's challenges through a spiritual perspective. Join me, Sheila Dunbar, as we explore various aspects of life with a mindful and godly approach. Tune in for engaging discussions on all things meaningful and transformative. Welcome back to Sheila's Take. In a time where the statistics show that men face mental health challenges with reluctance to seek help, my guest today, Jonathan Niziol's impact story, serves as a beacon of hope and resilience. From a tragic loss at a young age to battling addiction, anxiety, and body image issues, Jonathan's journey of overcoming personal struggles has led him to success as an international model and fitness role model. Through his advocacy work and personal transformation, Jonathan aims to empower others. Welcome, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm great, Sheila. Thank you very much for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining me. I wanted to talk a little bit about your turning point in your life that prompted you to rebuild your physical and mental health after facing addiction and a near death experience. And it was kind of at a young age, right?
It was, yeah. At 25, I was an alcoholic, and about 3.5 years of that led me. Thankfully, I was diagnosed with a really bad case of acute pancreatitis, and that put me in the hospital for just under a month. And I lost like 60 pounds and had to have 5 blood transfusions and almost died twice. And yeah, when I came out of that, that was a big turning point. I
Mhm.
still had more addictions to deal with in the future, but that was a big turning point. And that's part is one of the ways or times that I really started to appreciate fitness in my body.
But you're saying at 25 now, I'm thinking back when I was 25. And during that time, we're all discovering ourselves and I was kind of like a homebody. So once I got to a certain age, I just went out and I had so much fun. And one of the
Mhm.
things was partying and going and hanging out and of course drinking. And like you're saying at 25, you were an alcoholic.
Oh
You
yeah, for sure.
realized you
Yeah,
were alcoholic at
yeah,
25.
yeah. I mean, I was at 23,
Mm-hmm.
22, 20. Yeah, 23. I would say it started around there. But yeah, I had just resigned to the fact that I was going to be an alcoholic. It was a self medication. It was just me trying to self medicate and trying to cope with the loss of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away very suddenly the day before my 21st birthday, and also the mental health stuff because that came soon after clinical depression, severe anxiety, panic disorder, and self harm, and those things. Like I said, things came on pretty quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and alcohol was the first one, but I got very lucky because I needed pancreatitis to be that severe for me in order to stop and get the message because I couldn't stop drinking otherwise.
You couldn't stop drinking because it was self-medicating. Now, how did the loss of your mother, you said just before your 21st birthday, that had to
Yeah.
be devastating. How did that influence your journey towards trying to overcome challenges and finding strength within yourself?
Oh, I mean, it's everything. I mean, yeah, it was the day before my 21st birthday. I was in a phase where I'm transitioning from adulthood to well, adolescence into adulthood and really,
Mhm.
just kind of making that step. And 21 is kind of a weird age, can be a tough age as it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been everything. It's shaped my life without a doubt. I mean, I am the person I am today because I've had to deal with that, and I spent the better part of 15 years distracting myself with drug addictions, like I said, alcohol, eating disorder, just whatever I could in order to not feel my feelings. I was always just, it's better than feel my feelings. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but I got to a breaking point where I figured, okay, I need to do something drastic because 15 years after doing all this, I was 35 at the time, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like, I need to do either graduate to the next level of heavy drugs or do something drastic, which I finally went to therapy. And that was a big thing for me to finally, because I realized that I was barely surviving, let alone thriving. You know, this is, I was just living a life that wasn't, that it wasn't meant for me. I wasn't meant to be doing that. And,
Mhm.
you know, it was, everything looked great on the outside, but on the inside, I was just broken and in pieces.
And this is from 25 to about a good 10 years, pretty much, 10, 12 years, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would
That's
say it's,
yeah,
yeah, like 23 to 25 to
yeah,
35. Yeah, even before that, I'd say just might as well say it's like 21 to 25 because
yeah.
I was, or 21 to 35. Yeah, it was a good portion of my life. But you know what? I look back at it now, and the reason that I can sit here and talk about the things that I've done and the things that I've been through is because I've only recently learned how to genuinely forgive myself. And I forgive myself for the things that I've done that were not productive and, you know, went down those pathways,
Mhm.
such as alcoholism and drug addiction and that kind of stuff, because I was trying the best with what I had at the time. I didn't have the tools. I was trying my best. Was it the
Right.
best idea? No. Do I wish I had the money back? Yes, because I spent so much money. And then I forgive myself for things that happened that were out of my control, like my mother passing away,
Yeah,
because it's out of my control and it's a part of life, and unfortunately, these things happen. But yeah, I've truly learned to, and I've also learned that vulnerability is power. It's not shame, as I always thought. Like I thought,
yeah.
you know, I can't talk about that. I can't say that I had an eating disorder. Like that's not manly. People, I'm like, well, so I'm the person I am today because of all the things that I've been through
Because
it.
of all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
You mentioned that you battled with, body dysmorphia,
Mhm.
and you had an eating disorder while pursuing, yeah, career modeling,
Yep.
right? How did you navigate those struggles and find a healthy balance in your self-image and self-care?
It took a long time. I'm still modeling. I've been modeling for 15 years. And yeah, there's a lot of comparison, especially when I first got started. And it it got the better of me. And I started to think that I should be more like so and so instead of being the best version of myself.
Yeah.
And after quite a number of years, I realized that there already is that person out there. And there's only one Jonathan Niziol. And
Mhm.
there's a reason why I get these contracts. There's a reason why I've been all around the world and stuff like that. And it's not because I'm trying to emulate, you know, this person or that person, this person. It's because of me. And I need to be the best version of myself and be unique and understand that, you know, I think that's just in life in general. But it took a while. It took quite a while to realize that. And, you know, the modeling industry can be pretty strict and pretty like, and especially when I started 15 years ago, it was, you know, you have to be this size and stay in there and that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
that kind of plays in your head as well. But yeah, I was just finally realizing and relenting, like letting go of and, you know, saying, okay, I'm just going to be the best version of myself and work on that. And I've been working more and keeping busier than I ever have. So
Well, I can see with the fitness because what I think one of the things to get your body right is your mind, and when your mind is right, then you work on your body. So I can understand the fitness. How did you get into the modeling part of it?
So my mom was a model
Okay.
and she was a model in the late 70s, early 80s. And she talked a lot about it and told me stories about it and stuff like that. I never really thought I would do it. But
Mhm.
after I got pancreatitis and I came out of the hospital, I was a professional lacrosse player and I had a career ending knee injury. And I thought, okay, I mean, it's been a good career with lacrosse. Maybe I'll try something else and, go and see some agencies and look into it. And it was probably a year, maybe 14 months after I got out of the hospital from pancreatitis that I signed my first modeling contract.
That's good. That's amazing.
Thank you. I'm a big
Yeah.
believer in one door closes, another one opens, and
That
everything happens
I
for a reason. So we just
mhm.
have to keep moving forward. And yeah, big believer in
Yeah.
that. So
You overcame so much, and let's backtrack a little because I know you mentioned you decided to do therapy, but your story includes overcoming again addiction, depression, anxiety. You had a traumatic assault, right?
Mhm.
Now, how did seeking therapy and breaking free from those challenges impact you over on your overall well-being and personal growth?
I mean, it was everything. I was living, like you said, like there's mind, body, and spirit. I believe like you
Hmm.
have to take care of all those things. And I was just taking care of my body. Whereas I looked a certain way on the outside, but my mind and my spirit were I was not taking care of those. And I
Hmm.
felt like people would see me as something like, oh, there's Jonathan. Wow, there's the international model, all this stuff. I'm like, okay. And then I'd go home and just sit there and, do drugs the rest of the night because I just felt empty inside.
Yeah.
And I knew that there was, I had been compartmentalizing for years with all these like traumas and things that I've been through. And I had never been or learned how to be a sober functioning adult. And I thought, okay, I need to do this. I need to go and sit down with somebody and learn how to deal with these things and not run away from them
Hmm.
and not distract myself from them. They were all just distractions. Any way to distract myself from feeling like traveling from modeling was a distraction. Obviously alcohol and drugs and that kind of stuff was a
Right.
distraction. I mean, there's so fitness was a distraction. Like any way to just not like be in my own head. But it was, yeah, it was everything. I mean, it was wonderful, but it was hard. It was extremely hard because,
Yeah.
for the first time I was unpacking all these things that I've been putting off for years and years and years and doing it without uh, the help of a substance or something that to
Mm.
fall back on. It was just,
Yeah.
I was just, it was me. And I was like, oh, geez. But it was hard. And I said, you know what? I'm going to beat this. This isn't going to beat me. I'm going to beat this.
That's right.
And I'm going to have that. I harken back on that mentality that my parents, raised me with. And I grew up on a farm and we just, we had those days where we had to go out and it's a beautiful sunny day and it'd be a great day to go like sit by the pool, but we had to go and work 14-hour days for, 4 or 5 days in a row doing hay because that's just what we had to do.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm just going to do this. And yeah, I didn't think I'd be here. I didn't think I'd get through it a lot of times, but I had to do it. And I'm thankful that I did. And of course, I still have my good days, my bad days. I'm still trying to learn. The older I get, the more I realize I don't know. And I mean, when I was 18, I thought I had it all figured out.
Yeah. Don't we
Forget
all?
that.
Don't
Yeah.
we all?
Yeah.
We
Like,
know everything.
like this is easy. But, and then of course, like I said, I'm still, still deal with anxiety and some depression and stuff like that. And just, I have more tools and understanding, education and coping mechanisms and I'm able to live with and thrive and, live a more balanced and positive life
Mhm.
because of it.
Right. Because now you're able to recognize the triggers, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So that's important. Once you recognize the triggers and what's happening, you're able to deal with it in a lot easier, a lot better way.
Yes.
I totally understand that. Um, Now you are a successful model, and let me rephrase that. You're a successful international model, not just
Yeah.
a
Thanks.
model. You're international
Yeah.
and a fitness role model. How do you use your platform to inspire and support others who may be facing similar struggles or seeking personal transformation?
The biggest thing now, I mean, aside from working with clients like one on one and stuff like that, the biggest thing now is what I'm doing with you, and being able to, be invited on great big programs like this and what you're doing with your platform, and just being able to share like, hey man, I'm just a regular dude who has been through some stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to work through it, and you don't always know what it looks like. Don't judge a book by its cover, and understand that you don't know what people are going through. And, just don't almost also the whole thing I just talked about with don't give up.
Yeah.
And there's in dropping the stigmas of like what people look like that have been through certain things or are going through certain things as well. So I'm the biggest thing now is just like I said, being at the point where I'm comfortable and proud of who I am and not
Mm.
ashamed of the things that I've been through and the directions that I've taken and being able to sit here and talk about my story and keep learning and growing. Like I said, I can
Yeah.
never stop learning. I love, like I said, having conversations like this and people coming in and like inboxing me and stuff like that and learning things constantly because we just can never stop learning. So that's really all I'm trying to do is just try and share my story in hopes that it
Yeah.
helps somebody.
Let me ask you a question, Jonathan. Why do you think men have such a reluctance to kind of seek help when it comes to mental health challenges?
Well, for the longest time, I thought, okay, therapy is for wimps. Therapy is
For
not
what?
for wimps. Like
Okay.
I thought, I would think, therapy is for not for me. I'm not a loser. I'm not going to have somebody sit there and judge me for the things that I've done.
Hmm.
I don't have time. I don't have the money. I had a lot of time, money for drugs,
Yeah.
but those kinds of things and those stigmas that I was telling myself, I'm like, keep it. I'm like, I'll deal with it. I'll just put my head down. I'll do what I'm supposed to do, look a certain way on the outside, and then there's also like I said, it makes you weak, that sort of thing. Like I could talk about my feelings and I'll sit here and talk to you about the stuff that I've been through. But
Yeah.
if I was approached on the street and somebody was going to harm myself or somebody that I was with or loved, like I have no problem getting into a physical altercation and beating the brakes off them. Like I can still like it doesn't challenge your manliness or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's there's no juxtaposition of whether you're manly and go to therapy or not. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a wonderful thing that a lot of people, if they had the access to it, should do. And I understand that not everybody does, unfortunately. And it just I always say to people, just try and talk. Just talk to people. Just talk about it. See if you have somebody you can lean on.
How do you encourage men to seek the support when needed? I'm not a man, but let's say you have a man that comes to you and they say the exact same things you just said. How would you encourage them to seek support, knowing the issues of what you've been through and how it can help you?
Exactly that. I guess is just leading by example and just saying
Hmm.
like, look, these are all the things I've been through. A lot of times when I talk to people and they hear a bit about what I've been through, they're taken aback. And even when I was going through things and I started talking about it publicly, people that I knew when I was doing drugs and stuff like that, they're like, that's a shocker. Like we thought you had it all together. Like,
Yeah.
and I would just say that, like, it's it's a matter of going and just trying to and you'll understand and realize that you're not the only person that's dealing with this stuff, and it is manageable and it is okay. And like I said,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of I share. If somebody comes to me, I have a lot of people come to me and ask friends of mine who are either struggling with addiction or mental health stuff, and I suggest just start by going to talk to somebody and going to taking the steps. But at the same time, you can't force somebody, obviously. You can only give them
Right.
suggestions and you just like with my drinking, people told me I needed to cut down on drinking, but I wasn't ready to just stop drinking. So
Mhm.
people have to make that decision on their own.
Right. I agree. They definitely have to be ready to take that step.
Yeah.
You can talk and talk until you're blue in the face and try and convince somebody. But if they're not ready to take that step, it's not going to happen. Can you share a lesson or insight from your journey that you hope will resonate with my listeners or listeners in general who may be struggling with their own mental health or personal challenges?
Sure, absolutely. I would say persistence is key. Always continuing to try and move forward and just know that you can get through it. Like it seems like the darkest days are never going to end. And it's been around for a while, but this too shall pass. It's
Yeah.
whether it's something good or
Mhm.
great, like this too shall pass. Whether it's something horrible, like this too, just know that, because
Yeah.
when you're in it, you think that this is it. This is my life. This is the way it's going to be. And this too shall pass. And it's the absolute best, number one, most important fight that you have to fight. And the
Mhm.
biggest, like, and the most important battle that you have to battle. But it's worth it. And this too shall pass.
That's right. That's right. I saw something it's on Instagram the other day, and she was talking about how you may be in a rainy season, but eventually the sun's gonna shine. It's gonna shine on you, and when it does, you'll see you see yourself in in a different way, in a different light. And so I definitely agree. Things will pass no matter how bad it gets. You just gotta never give up and keep going and doing what you have to do to get to that other side.
Yeah.
What's next
Sure.
for you, Jonathan? What's next for you on the horizon? What do you got going on?
So I'm talking to a couple podcasts right now. They're two people who do two podcasts. They're both podcasts are ranked on the Apple charts pretty high under health and fitness. And
Hmm.
I think they're asking me to come on as a co-host. And I've been wanting to start my own podcast for a while, but this
I
might
was
be a
gonna
better.
say that. I was gonna
Yeah,
say that. I was so like, I wonder if he's gonna start his own podcast.
yeah. I've been thinking about it, but this might
Mhm.
be a nice way just to get into what they're doing. I
Right.
like what they're doing, so that's that should be happening in the next little while. And then I'm getting certified as a life coach and mentor.
Oh, good, good.
Just because, again, people are looking for it and want to, and I can help share my life and my experiences. And that's another thing I say too, is like, by all means, like, use my life as a cautionary tale. Like, don't do what I did. By all means, if I can save you some time, effort, money, like, but I'm we all learn by making our mistakes and stuff like that. So we find ourselves in situations where we need a little bit of help and stuff like that. So yeah, those things, and then working on a book, and just
Mhm.
trying to continue moving forward and share my story, and keep getting it out there.
Well, you know, sometimes you go through things for a reason. Um,
Yeah,
and through every test, there's a testimony. And now you've been through the test and now you are sharing your testimony. And your testimony, I can guarantee will help. If it helps one person, it's helped somebody, right?
of course,
You know,
absolutely.
because that's important to save lives and to let people know that mental health is real. Alcoholism is real. Anxiety is real, but you can get past these things and you can live a normal life. You know, I mean,
Yes.
you are a prime example, excuse me, a prime example of that. My last question to you, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for all of the lessons that I've had to learn,
Mhm.
good and bad. I'm grateful for the life that I have lived and continue to live, and the lessons that they have taught me. Like I said, I wouldn't take back anything that I've been through or done. If I could go back and talk to 21-year-old Jonathan, I wouldn't change anything. The
Right.
only thing I would say is it's going to take a long time, but you're going to get through it, and just don't don't quit. Um, but I'm very grateful for those lessons. I'm grateful for everything that's happened to me, and the things that continue to happen to me, and just grateful for life in general. Just yeah, very grateful.
Any final thoughts?
It's a matter of educating yourself
Mhm.
on, if you're starting to feel things like you feel like you're depressed or you're anxious or something like that. Really start to educate yourself. Go see a medical professional. If you are diagnosed with something, do some more research and education and understand why your body feels a certain way and why your body's reacting a certain way.
Mhm.
And just know that we can all find our version of normal, whatever normal is, our own version of that. And yeah, it's the most important battle that we can fight. So just keep on going.
Keep on going. That's some good final thoughts right there. If anyone out there wants to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you, Jonathan?
I'm on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok and YouTube are just my name, Jonathan Niziol, Niziol, and then my webpage and my Facebook are Jonathan Niziol Official.
Okay. Well, I thank you, Jonathan, for being on my podcast today. I appreciate you sharing your story, and I wish you the best.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on and giving me the platform, and you as well. I wish you all the best and keep up the great work.
And listen, I'm gonna be holding you to that podcast. I want to hear that podcast, and definitely reach out to me when you have your book so we can get you back on to talk about that. But keep going forward and don't give up.
Sounds great. I appreciate it.
Until next time, remember to embrace the journey, build lasting connections, and step boldly into all that life has in store for you. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Blessings to you.